Yeah, Radha, I'm executive assistant, and I
Yes,
have been working in this position for almost 18 years. And now I have
yes,
a project here. Time to time, I'm giving seminar
yes.
training to students at universities and also
Okay.
in high school. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to increase the consciousness of executive assistant job description. So I'm trying to see where we are globally, what executive
Okay.
assistants are doing in another countries, in another companies. So I'm
Right.
also asking you where we are in India, what executive
Okay.
assistants are doing, what are the responsibilities. Would you
Same
please
there.
share your feedbacks with us?
Sure. Sure. Can I go on? I have a long list of things to tell you. And see, firstly, I would like to tell you that I've had my 33 decades, 30 years in the corporate world. I've had, I had very nice experiences with executive assistants. Okay. And
Uh-huh.
they have been, a lot of them have been very successful and efficient. And they have risen to be very important or key resources even to management positions at some point in time. So
Uh-huh.
that is where my perspective towards them begins from there. So they have been very effective, and as like in the rest of the world, in India also, they perform a lot of administrative
Uh-huh.
duties and help the top management with a lot of functions. And they help in the smooth flow of business in the company. They do a lot of jobs like it may be simple ones like calendar setting and travel thing, preparing expense reports, but it goes far beyond that. So you can say they're an important cog in the wheel of the company's operations, to put it in short. Okay. Uh, I can look at a few attributes which, generally I've observed, and, it's a successful uh, executive assistance in my career spanning this period. Okay. Number one, to begin with, the most important thing that they should have is, the communication,
Uh-huh.
accurate and timely communication. That is very important, because they are dealing with top executives generally, and there
Right.
is single between because they're a single point of contact probably, and the heads of the various businesses, departments, etc.
Uh-huh.
So it is very important, there will be a lot of information from the chief executive, regarding meetings to be held, various business related dealings. So they need to give out important communications in a timely
Uh-huh.
and efficient and accurate manner, and get the feedback from the people. While the communication, they should not be be overbearing, trying
Uh-huh.
to pose as if they are the boss, which nobody likes. Managers generally detest such behavior. So, those kind of things have to be kept in mind. They should be very polite and helpful, but at the same time quite firm in what they're doing. And I've seen many of them, get things before you know what you're doing, they get the information from you, they're so good at it, kind of, they know how to get the right kind of response from the managers or whomsoever they're dealing with. And this is not only with regard to within the company, even outside the company, while dealing with outsiders, this is a very important thing, because the executive assistant, as an executive assistant, you present the face of the chief executive in the company to the outsider who deals with you. Uh, I can recount my own experience. When I was went for my first interview with a big multinational group in India, whom I
Uh-huh.
worked 20 years. I had gone 20 years. Interview with the chief executive the next, and I went in 10 minutes before the meeting.
Uh-huh.
The chief executive assistant assured me, and it was a holiday, so there was nobody else. She was the only one. So, because they had to the chief executive was available only then, so they had to bring me in that day. For them,
Uh-huh.
it was a holiday. She was the only one there. She ushered me in, and and made me comfortable, sit and all this stuff. Gave me a seat, and then I was waiting for about more than 5 minutes. She came out, and then she told me, the meeting was going to be delayed by 10-15 minutes because they were halfway through something. They were going.
Uh-huh.
They completed. So she apologized for the delay, and not only that, she sat with me and had a nice personal chat and gave me a cup of coffee. So, it made me feel absolutely comfortable. And
Uh-huh.
I decided if anything else went well and they chose me, I would go with this company.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what
yeah. I
happened.
understand.
So it's the first impression is the best impression, right? And the way it's the you think this company is efficient, they are caring, they are they
Uh-huh.
know what to how to treat people. These are things which the executive assistant presents to the outsider. That is a very important thing. And there may be lots of outsiders dealing with the company, for seeking appointments or various favors, even a lot of things. So the executive assistant should be very careful in response and very helpful. At the same time, limit herself to whatever is required, even if it's a no, or you decline some favor or whatever. It should be done in the right manner, so that you have good vibes with the person while communication, and not hurt them or in any manner. So that is how I've seen these people. Like I said, the personal assistant who was dealing with me, they were so nice. Executive assistant, they were so nice and good that you felt happy to be part of this group,
Yeah.
whether it was outsider or whatever.
Yeah.
And from this flows a very important facet. While communication is important, confidentiality and the discretion, they
Yeah.
are absolutely important in an executive assistant, because you're dealing with a lot of privy to so much information, important information, sensitive information.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
may relate
yeah.
to appointments of managers, or resignations of managers, or increments, promotions, and a whole lot of stuff. So you should be very, very careful and discreet, and even your best friend should not know what's happening. They
Communicative,
may,
you must be.
you
Yeah,
have to
right.
keep these things to yourself, and it should they should get to know only when the message is put out in the by way of email or whatever, not to communicate with anybody about these important information, sensitive details. Likewise, there may be outside, a lot of strategic things may be happening with outsiders, like a company may be trying
Uh-huh.
to purchase, acquire big companies. A lot of business dealings may be there, and a lot of information will flow through the chief executive's office. So, and the executive assistant, is constantly, she has to be
Uh-huh.
updated, so that the next flow of information can be handled.
Yes.
So
Right.
at the same time, the holding the confidentiality and being very discreet is very, very important while communicating. And so that chief executive should know, I can depend on this person, okay, and I can leave all the whatever is required information with her, to have so that she can handle it. To the
Yeah.
extent possible, he can delegate and devote his attention to other more pressing and important things on his table. So that is another important thing. And again, in a crisis, for example, it may be a crisis, or it may be a one-off situation where the chief executive is called away, to
Uh-huh.
an unknown destination, whatever. Sometimes there will be emergencies, personal or official. you know at that point, I've seen, even in our company when I was working, the executive assistant, she should hold the fort kind of, and maybe a short period, and not allow people around to panic kind of. Take
Yeah,
if
right.
there is something urgent that is required, a feedback or a decision from the chief executive, she must be able to assess, you know, whether it is that critical or pressing, or it can be held back. And then she should have a way of communicating to the boss, and either getting a, okay, keep it pending, keep it moving, or that kind of stuff. So people around don't panic and press the panic button, and do things in a rush. So
Yeah.
these I've seen a lot of this happening with the executive assistants. A few of them have been exemplary in what they've been doing. Then it brings me to the next facet. Unless you have something else to ask, I have a few more points to tell you.
Actually,
Yeah.
you know my second question, but we talked all about that. If you want to share more, I'm open. I have time. I will be so happy to get your points.
There, I have two other very important facets which I remember, and which I noted down when you said that. One thing is that the travel part.
Uh-huh.
It may look a very mundane and very ordinary kind of stuff, routine kind of stuff, but it's very important. Because when the chief executive or others travel for important business meetings, taking care of the flight bookings, surface transport, taxis, etc. Making sure that everything, goes on schedule and it's on
Yeah.
time. That's very important, because the fallout of a bad incident may be very, very serious. Because if the chief executive is stuck without a car or without some accommodation or whatever, it not only causes a great deal of inconvenience,
Uh-huh.
it may also result in, sometimes missing the meetings kind of stuff. So that also, I think, it may
Important.
look very ordinary, but I think it is a very, very critical job at times. And, so you should, sorry,
It's okay.
take care of that aspect really well. While you may get a pat for a good job, you may even lose a job if you miss out on. Sorry, 1 minute.
No, 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 it's
This
okay.
kind of stuff. So, sorry, Serpil.
No, it's okay,
I have
Radha.
the AC on, but I'm still, sweating kind of.
Yeah, it's sometimes.
That is something I want to share with you. In my career, while I was traveling, chief executive, when we had gone to a very important site visit, for
Uh-huh.
the wind power energy stuff. So, the executive assistant organized the thing for all of us, for a
Uh-huh.
total of about 10 people, going by flight, going by car later, and then, on the site with several consultants who were outsiders coming and joining up. So she had to organize everything, and the way it went about, so it was so clinically so well arranged that everything clicked, and people were so happy the deal went through. But I shudder to think how things, so if things had gone wrong, how
Uh-huh.
it would have been totally unmanageable kind of stuff.